More new indie games have been revealed, which includes an above average number of monster taming games along with some surprise releases which you can play right now. So let's begin with Tears of Metal, a third person hack and slash action roguelite where you lead a Scottish battalion in medieval times, carve your way through hordes of enemies to reclaim your island from a rogue English general who has seized control after the mysterious Dragonstone meteor crash. Coming to us from developer Paper Cult, best known for the Hotline Miami-like Blood Roots from 2021, and looks fantastic. I have a few interesting Kickstarter titles as well, one of which is MUSESTRUCK, where you guide Journey and Quinn, two young artists, through a vibrant 2D platformer RPG that melds art and magic. Platformer RPGs are always of interest to me, since it is not turn-based like JRPGs, nor action-adventure like old-school Zelda games, nor are they purely about platforming challenges, where in this game you mix the illustration-based powers of Journey to create platforms and navigate obstacles, and the musical abilities of Quinn to fight enemies with bullet-dodging combat, puzzles, and exploration across 6 distinct areas, each inspired by different art mediums, and looks cool, with it having a relatively modest target, so support it if interested. This video is brought to you by Kitchen Wars, a fast-paced, chaotic, competitive party game where 2 teams of 1 to 4 players take on the role of employees in competing restaurants, which are located next to each other. Your primary goal is to serve customers promptly to maintain satisfaction and to earn revenue, but can also sabotage your opponent's restaurant, which is where the fun comes in. Strategic offensive actions are integral, since you can attack opponents using melee weapons to disrupt their operations and to steal resources, or to steal their chairs, thereby reducing their seating capacity, or to chuck rubbish over to the other side so they have to clean it up. Revenue earned from customers can be invested in purchasing upgrades and items that enhance your kitchen's efficiency and unlock powerful boosters, but looks like pure multiplayer party game fun, and with both local and online multiplayer modes including Steam Remote Play. Get this for your next play session with friends, since it just released today, April 16, 2025 on Steam. A Pikmin-like action strategy title is Forest Floor, where you lead a growing colony of tiny mushroom-like creatures called Mushkin through a lush, perilous woodland teeming with natural hazards and symbiotic surprises. There seems to be one main Mushkin which you control, so this plays kind of like a 3D platformer with exploration, colony management, and strategic combat. As you explore the forest floor, you encounter hostile wildlife, gather vital resources, and discover allies which unlock new abilities, using these to grow your colony. I'm not sure what the overarching goal or story is, but it certainly looks to be a title to watch. ORPHEUS to Hell and Back is a retro-inspired puzzle adventure game that is, get this, going to be released on physical cartridges for the Game Boy, but will also be compatible with the Game Boy Color, Advance, Pocket, and more. So how's this for hipster? They've nailed the art style, and it looks like a game that belongs on the Game Boy, drawing from the mythological Greek character of Orpheus, who you might have encountered in Hades, of a pair of tragic musicians and lovers as he goes into the underworld to rescue his beloved Eurydice. There is, however, no combat in this game, instead being just puzzles of the block-pushing variety, as well as use of music to lure enemies, with plans for a second game, Eurydice Back to Hell, if the stretch goal target is reached. So if you have a Game Boy lying around the house, maybe give this a look. Not to be confused with another title later on in this list, Lootbound is a pixel art roguelike RPG mixing turn-based combat and inventory management as you guide a party of heroes out of a dungeon. Before each run, you roll 3 dice, a d10, d12, and d20 to apply unique buffs, debuffs, and gameplay modifiers, ensuring that no 2 adventures are the same, where you explore the map to gather pieces of armor that will form the final boss's body to unlock the final battle. Combat looks intriguing as you are placing attacks, abilities, and possibly items into slots, and then hitting the end turn button to see those resolve, but with limited inventory space and gear durability means that there will be plenty of strategic choices to be made and is at least something different in the roguelite space. Monster Crown Sin Eater is the follow-up to Monster Crown from 2021, a neat monster taming RPG which enabled you to fuse monsters together, and they are back with a new entry, looking pretty slick in the overworld portion, but does still retain their signature turn-based combat to the chagrin of some. You play as a young farm boy named ORPHEUS who dreams of becoming a monster tamer like his brother, and when his family faces mortal danger, he embarks on a journey to change the fate of the Crown Nation. Apparently, there will be over 1,000 unique handcrafted monsters as a result of their cross-breeding system, each with their own personality, behavior and skills, with wild monsters being represented on the world map and will react to you by attacking or fleeing, with choices that matter and branching dialogue paths which will lead to multiple endings, being already funded on Kickstarter, but check it out for stretch goals and rewards. It might be way too early for me to say this, but Mousework sure does give off Snipper Clips vibes, being a co-op puzzle game which makes use of one of the new features of the Nintendo Switch 2, in that the Joy-Con 2 can be used like a mouse. As such, it introduces the revolutionary concept of a mouse cursor to consoles where you are working together with friends in a variety of intense mini-games, from a space shooter looking game to drawing, closing pop-up windows and even basketball, which might be a bit gimmicky, but it looks like the perfect way to explore this new control scheme, and for now it looks like a Switch 2 exclusive. I'm still not completely sold on this game, so if you are in the Lizards Must Die community, please leave a comment explaining what the deal is with this game, since the original has an astounding 23,000 Steam reviews and its sequel isn't doing too bad either. As far as I can tell, this is a third-person hack-and-slash action title that pits humans against lizard people, but with all sorts of crazy things and humor going on. Still, I guess it would be wrong to just dismiss this as some sort of meme game, since player interest clearly is there, so I'm at least curious about this. Our next monster taming title is Tomo Endless Blue, where the Endless Blue is an ocean realm home to creatures called Tomo. The islands in this archipelago are filled with secrets, as they hold the remnants of lost civilization, where each island is a new story, but my concern is that these are procedurally generated, including unique villages, architecture, cultures, stories, quests, dialogue and people, so I wonder how it will all fit together. The Tomo have elemental powers, but are not just pets to be used in battle, rather being your companions and can help in your daily adventures, including constructing and building off your home base, so perhaps Hell World-like in nature. There might be a bit of a bait and switch here from the trailer, since the characters have that Genshin Impact-like art style to them, but apparently it has a voxel block-by-block world similar to Minecraft, although the disclaimer says that it is pre-alpha, so things are subject to change. It is an action RPG with real-time combat, so you will be able to switch perspectives between the player character and your Tomo to tackle enemies, with plenty of crafting and resource gathering elements as well. However, things do take a much darker turn towards the end of the trailer, which I was not expecting, so despite the cute presentation, it does seem to be targeting a more mature audience and could be huge. This next title looks cool, where in Stardust Skate, the pavement pulses with neon nostalgia, inviting you to a world where throwback aesthetics meets endless runner thrills. Choose from 4 distinct skaters, each bringing their own flair and abilities to the table, and make your way through procedurally generated levels from the eerie depths of Blackthorn Mire to the sun-kissed shores of Beechwood. As you perform tricks and maneuvers, collect stars to unlock over 40 unique skateboards, each adding a fresh twist to your gameplay, and is available right now at $3 only, so why not give this a go. A freaky looking title is Cyber Rats, in which you play as a rat trapped in a maze, being the test subject in an AI-controlled facility. Your goal? Find the cheese, avoid the traps, outsmart the cyborg hunters and to escape the maze. But it is not as easy as it sounds, with an array of deadly traps and horror game style enemies that will kill you. The maze is procedurally generated, so it is a roguelite where you're able to unlock new rats like zombie, cyborg or mutant forms, each with different stats and abilities, where I want to find out more about the minute-to-minute gameplay, if it is just about running around or if there's more to it but might be one to watch. A fun-looking Punch-Out inspired title is Leftovers KO, a hand-drawn animated boxing game where you return home after a long day only to find that your uneaten food has come to life and is ready to fight. Each leftover opponent possesses a unique fighting style, requiring you to adapt your strategy to defeat them and to uncover the truth behind their sudden aggression. I really like the designs of the characters, from mutant hamburgers, sandwiches, pizza and a sushi golem, having some amazing animation, where they just released a playable demo on Steam so you can try it out right now. A cool looking action-adventure title that I came across on Twitter is Rootbound, where you play as a plant on a quest to save your home island of Akara, which is dying. A mysterious blight has spread across the land, exacerbated by a cursed rain, with your only ally in this world being a moody, sentient backpack. So how's that for a dynamic duo? The backpack tosses you tools and items when it feels like it, hopefully giving you the right item at the right time to solve puzzles and to progress further in the world. There is combat which looks intense, as well as puzzle elements such as gathering and placing down wooden planks to form a bridge, with physics playing a role in all of the above as well, and looks like a high potential title. Similarly, the developer of Ascent DX reached out, where this is a minimalist Metroidvania that uses 64x64 pixel art as its graphical constraint, looking pretty sweet and cleverly designed, where the best part is that this is free, so you can give it a go on Steam. You crash on a desolate yet mysterious planet and awaken amidst the remnants of an ancient civilization, setting off to explore lush jungles, barren deserts, and glowing caves to uncover the planet's secrets and to find a way back home. As you navigate through various biomes, you'll discover powerful upgrades and abilities that aid your journey, Metroidvania style, with it being a short, compact title lasting 30 to 60 minutes, so if you need a palate cleanser between games, give this a try. I found myself increasingly drawn to survival horror titles despite not being a big fan, with those utilizing the PSX era visuals standing out to me, which makes Iris Dissolution the next title of note. The line between reality and nightmares has dissolved as our heroine finds herself in a world where nothing is as it seems. Her main goal is to find her missing brother, but this town has its share of creepy horrors, with enemies bursting out from just out of sight, and looks rather classically designed down to fixed camera angles, inventory management, puzzles, and of course scarce ammo and resources, so you cannot treat this like an action game. Thus far, the enemies shown appear to be similar to humanoid mannequins, with a leaping variant as well, so nothing too spooky just yet, but it is still early days for this, where you can put it on your wishlist to keep an eye on it. I don't believe this title qualifies as indie, coming to us from Chinese developer Game Duchy, who is quite large, but Iron Saga VS is a 2D fighting game that have somehow gathered mechs from well-known IPs like Mazinger and Super Beast Machine God and Kuga and stuffed them into this title, where you don't even need to know about those IPs to have a good time with this game as long as you love giant mechs. Select from 12 playable mechs, each with 2 distinct arsenal loadouts, altering special moves and strategies to keep your opponent guessing. Sure, I don't think this will be at EVO, but still, if you love fighting games and want some variety, this might be worth a look, with there being various modes as well as rollback netcode for online play. Another monster taming title of interest is Montabi, this time in the form of a tactical roguelite deck builder, where the city teeters on the brink of chaos due to criminals, and you, Montabi trainer, are its last hope. Form a party of 3 Montabi and engage in turn-based battles on a dynamic 3x3 grid, where positioning and synergy are key to outmaneuvering adversaries. Every Montabi recruit adds new cards to your deck, allowing for endless combinations and tactics, where of course these creatures can evolve, unlocking powerful moves that can turn the tide of battle. Interestingly, there is variety to the playable trainers to select from, each offering unique abilities, but they are also represented as a unit on the battlefield, where if the trainer falls, the mission ends, looking like a fascinating strategy entry. One more roguelite title of note is Voidbreaker, a first-person shooter this time around, where you are trapped in a relentless loop by a malevolent AI, and the only escape is to fight your way through. Every run is a high-stakes test of reflexes and strategy, as you customize your weapon with their extensive gun modding system, creating weapons that defy convention and devastate foes. The environment is also fully destructible, so you can blast through walls, collapse structures, and to use the destruction to your advantage, with effectively a node-based map so you can chart your path as you move from arena to arena, and thus look like pure adrenaline. This has also been picked up by publisher PlayStack, who did publish a little game named Balatro from last year, so if you have confidence in their picks, this will be of interest. Speaking of Balatro, CloverPit self-describes as Buckshot Roulette cross Balatro, taking the aesthetic of the first and combining it with the scoring system of the latter, where you need to beat a score target. You are trapped in a grimy cell with a cursed slot machine and a debt that grows with every spin, so get to work pulling the lever and hope that luck is on your side. Of course, it will not be fun if it is just luck, so you can manipulate the machine to earn coins, and with over 150 items and synergies, you can twist the odds in your favor, triggering massive combos that might just buy you another round. If you run out of spins, the floor opens up and you fall, presumably to your death, but can start another run, looking kind of dangerous in that Balatro kind of way, but does beg the question on whether literal gambling influence on roguelites is a good thing or not. One of the most insane launches that I have seen in recent memory is Schedule 1, essentially drug dealer simulator, where you begin as a low-level dealer in the gritty city of Highland Point, aiming to build a drug empire from scratch. The game combines open-world exploration with business management, allowing you to produce various narcotics through unique interactive minigames. As you progress, you can acquire properties, hire employees, and automate your operations, transforming your small-time setup into a sprawling enterprise. The dynamic economy responds to your actions, with supply and demand affecting prices and opportunities, also having multiplayer co-op support to get your friends involved in the business. Despite its cartoony visuals, there is depth here, requiring careful planning to navigate the challenges like law enforcement and rival gangs, with this having an astounding 122,000 Steam reviews and an overwhelmingly positive rating, which is extra impressive considering that it is $20 and is an early access title and is on track to become Lethal Company big. A title absolutely crushing it on Kickstarter is Seed of Nostalgia, a classic pixel art JRPG that just looks so good, adding in modern elements like some really pretty lighting and bloom effects, while still retaining its core inspiration of the SNES and PS1 Golden Era games. The world is dying, where you play as Attila, a young spirit blade from a secluded village where your rite of passage is disrupted as your home plunges into despair. The sacred Gaia seed, source of all life, begins to wither, so you descend from the colossal world tree for the very first time, going on an epic journey across the non-linear world to find a solution. Forge bonds with a diverse party of 6 unique characters, each bringing their own strengths and stories to the quest, with refined but still retro turn-based combat that looks sleek, similar to Chained Echoes in some ways. You can also interact with the world, mining metals, gathering materials, and crafting powerful weapons, with of course exploration being encouraged, with ancient secrets to uncover and formidable bosses to battle. Of course, there is a world map and airship in this, just like the classics of old, and while the title is a little on the nose, it looks to be a great JRPG. I noticed that if you mash together a cozy game and horror game in an interesting way, the contrast between the two makes the game really stand out, see Dredge for example, and the next game to try is Never Way, a nightmarish life sim RPG that sure looks intriguing. You play as Fiona, a former office worker who abandons her mundane life to start anew on a farm, so far so standard, but then she realizes that things are not as they seem, having to become the immortal herald of a dead god. So how's that for intriguing? For the most part, you are doing farming sim stuff like chopping trees, growing crops and fishing, but then things start to get weird with the psychological horror and action RPG mechanics, as you explore this post-apocalyptic world filled with horrors and mysteries. Combat is fast-paced and seems to be more developed as compared to other farming games, but there are still over 10 romanceable characters, so the core elements remain intact. So if you love farming sims like me, but are perhaps sick of the ultra cozy farm life kind of vibe, then this will definitely be of interest. We did also get a new trailer for Mugenics, the next game from Edmund Macmillan and his collaborator on The End Is Nigh, Tyler Galeo, with this game undergoing significant changes as compared to when it was first announced. Now this is a turn-based tactical roguelite with cat breeding, where you assemble a team of feline fighters, each with distinct classes like hunter, mage or healer, and venture out into the world, fighting enemies on procedurally generated grids in order to collect unique items and gain mutations so that you can further your bloodline. There will be over 800 unique items in this game, 6 plus cat classes, each with 50 plus unique abilities, 200 plus enemies and bosses, hundreds of pieces of enchanted furniture, and apparently 200 plus hours of gameplay, where the pedigree speaks for itself and could be the next big roguelite, although I do wonder if the turn-based tactics combat will be off-putting to Binding of Isaac fans. One more monster taming title here in the form of Monster Patch, coming to us from the developer of Littlewood, and is a cozy monster collecting RPG. Set on the floating continent of Etheria, you play as a budding wizard, choosing 2 out of 6 unique starter mons to accompany you on your journey, eventually building up to a team of 4 to engage in fast-paced, turn-based battles against other wizards and arch-wizards. Each mon can belong to 2 houses, think elements, of which there are a total of 9, with 9 arch-wizards leading each of their respective houses, and defeating the gym leaders is part of the progression of the game. You will gain access to powerful spells that can influence both combat and the environment, allowing you to explore more of the floating continent, which I suppose is the HM equivalent. Beyond battles, immerse yourself in town building and farming activities as you design the town layout, cultivate crops, and recruit townsfolk who may even join you in friendly mon battles. Customize your town with blueprints and decorations, and Chickily will offer 2 versions named Skyfarer and Aurora, but don't worry, this will be one purchase only, with this also crushing it on Kickstarter, but do support it for stretch goals and rewards. Yes, we did also get confirmation that the long in development DLC for Katana Zero is still coming and will still be free, which was announced shortly after the game's 2019 release, where this expansion has grown significantly in scope and size over the years and has become more like Katana 1.5, featuring new characters, levels, gameplay mechanics and story elements, with still no date, but it's good to see signs of life. Watch this video for more action platformers.